Thank you everybody for joining. I'm just going to get us started here. I think we're recording. Again, today we are continuing our insiders in the industry panels that we've been doing here at ActivePipe. Again, the idea is to bring in some really interesting people in the industry that have a lot of experience, a lot of different perspectives, especially during this really unpredictable time, right? What should we be doing as agents, as leaders, as as people who work in the real estate industry? And so today we have somebody really interesting, Verl Workman, one of the premier coaches and trainers in the industry, trains some of the top agents and teams in the industry. So we're excited to have him on. Verl, just to kind of get us started here, do you mind giving us a little bit of background on yourself and a little bit about Workman Success?
Sure. So the fun stuff is I'm in Salt Lake City, Utah. We are in an area that real estate has been deemed essential. So we're listing and selling real estate. It is interesting, though. We have a very interesting community here that has been really pulled back. And so we've been very fortunate that the coronavirus hasn't had, just an epidemic impact on our community. People have been good at social distancing, and I think that's been very positive. I'm a father. I have 6 children, ranging from 30 to 12. And 9 grandkids, and another one on the way. So it'll be 10 by the end of next month. So I'm a dad and a grandpa. Those are the cool things about my family. And when you're from Utah, Aaron, everybody always asks, 6 kids, and is it just the one wife? And the answer is yes. 34 years we've been married.
You can still have a commune if you would like on the property, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So I can't afford anymore. So I always told my wife I want to have as many kids as I can afford and she can handle. And we were talking the other night. We decided that number would have been 3, and so we went way beyond. We went way beyond that. So our company in Salt Lake we have about 30 employees, and we have about 60 coaches. And our focus is primarily working with real estate teams at a high level. And we work and consult with a lot of brokerages on building and providing team solutions for their brokerages. A lot of people trying to figure out how to deal with teams, and the more complex the transaction gets and the downward pressure on commissions causes people to put themselves in an environment where they have to be able to do more transactions to create scale. And today's consumer is absolutely been trained to work with teams. And so we decided 5 years ago when we started this business to focus primarily on brokerages and teams, and it's been a tremendous success. And we just get to do what I love, and that's sharing ideas with people and helping them kick butt and take names. So if you want to dominate and you want to take market share and you want to kill it in real estate, then we're good guys to have in your Rolodex, because that's what we'd love to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've already heard plenty of stories about agents that are part of your program, seeing an uptick in business actually during this time when everybody else in the area might be seeing different things. So definitely a testament to the work that you're all doing. So to kind of get us started here, I imagine you have a pretty unique perspective on the current situation in the market. You talk a lot about preparing for the bounce, things you should be doing now in order to be able to take advantage of that time. Can you give me, just your insights on how you're looking at this time and what you're recommending to your teams as how they should be handling this?
Yeah, and absolutely. So I love the question, and I heard you teed it up perfectly by asking about the bounce, because everybody's talking about this pivot or shift, and that you have to pivot your business or you have to shift. And to me, my 15-year-old son, he comes down. By the way, he's a 9th grader. He's a freshman in high school, and right now his dad is the worst person on the planet. And I'm not letting him hang out with his friends. And we've sequestered him. He plays competitive sports, and so he's not able to go out and play soccer and all the things he loves to do. So the guy, he's driving me crazy. He's climbing the wall.
He's not helping the relationship.
No, but it actually, you'd think it wouldn't. And at first it was like all down, but now as he's seeing the impact the coronavirus has had on others, he's grateful that it doesn't have it, and certainly doesn't want to spread it. But one of the cool things about it, at least once a day, Jake comes to me and says, "Hey, Dad, will you go out and play basketball with me?" And he hasn't said that for a long time. And so it's been a real cool opportunity for me to go out every day. And I don't care what I'm doing, unless I'm on a webinar like this, I'll shut my computer. I'll say, "Let's go shoot." And so we got on the basketball court and we play a little basketball. And it's been kind of fun playing with Jake. Now Jake's an athlete and I'm, a big old man. And so I like to play defense. And so when Jake's got the ball, he's I'm a hard guy to get around. And so I'll post him up, make it hard for him to get around me. Well, if you follow basketball at all, you know what it's like to play basketball, Aaron. When you're dribbling, you have the ability to continue moving forward toward the basket, so you do a layup or shoot or whatever. But the moment you stop dribbling, you have to plant one of your feet, and then you can move the other foot around. You can pivot, but you no longer can make progress. And so I was watching Jake the other day, and I put him into a corner. He couldn't go anywhere else. And he stopped dribbling. And then I was like, now what are you going to do? You're screwed because you can't shoot that far out. You can't dribble to get any closer. And so pivoting is all you can do is spin around in circles and not make any progress. And so I had this epiphany that was like, all right, I'm going to stop talking about the pivot. And I'm going to talk about the bounce, because as long as we continue to bounce, as long as we are in motion going forward, we're going to be able to make progress. And so that's my whole messaging, is I believe that what's going to happen in this economy is that if you listen to all of the, everybody has an opinion, but what they're saying is that they're expecting we're going to have a V-shaped recovery, which I believe. I think that what happened is that if you remember the old VCRs. I don't know if you're too young to have ever had a VCR, Aaron.
Oh yeah, every
Okay.
Disney movie in the house we had in VCR.
Every Disney. Okay, I still have those as well. Well, now when you're watching a movie, you ever go up and hit that pause button and everything just kind of pauses for a moment? That's what's happened to our economy, is somebody pressed pause. And so it's just on pause for a minute. But I believe that when they hit that pause button again and they open it up, that we're going to get right back to where we were and have a very strong, stable, fast-moving economy. And so the activities that we focus on right now during this pause cycle are going to prepare us either to be at the top of the curve during the bounce or to be at the bottom of the ball on a bounce. And you don't want to be the bug on the bottom of a ball during the bounce, because what happens to that bug?
Get squashed.
Yeah, right. So you have to kind of, for me, I think that we just have to kind of make a decision on who we want to be. You want to be at the top of the curve or the bottom of the ball, and you want to continue moving forward, or you want to stop and pivot. I think that we need to pay attention to what's going on. We got to have a little bit of pivoting going on, but for the most part, I'm going to continue moving forward and putting my house in order. Because if you put your house in order, then what happens when the bounce occurs, that you're able to run at a higher level of speed with a higher level of ease. It's kind of like shifting gears. A lot of people run around, they run in, first gear, and they go 60 miles an hour, and it causes a high level of energy to move at that level. And sometimes you have to take your foot off the gas, push in the clutch, and shift gears. And right now is our opportunity to put our foot in the clutch, have a little bit of a pause, and go from first to second to third to fourth. And then when we come out, we're going to be going 80 miles an hour in fifth gear, and we're not going to feel any effort. And that's the goal.
It's a really great analogy. I wonder if your son knows how much of an epiphany he created just during that one game. I'm sure he'd appreciate that.
Yeah, I tell him I've been talking about him. He's like, whatever.
I'm guessing a lot of epiphanies happen around the family, so it's nothing new.
Right.
So you bring up a really interesting point. When you talk about being at the top of the ball, the bottom of the ball. If we're going to be looking at a V shape here, I'm sure there's many paths that V could take. Whether it's more extreme, whether it's more a slower V, right? And I think things that agents can be doing right now will affect what does that V look like for them. Will it be quick?
Totally.
Will it be slow? From your perspective, I know we talked about a couple things, previously. From your perspective, what are the things that teams and agents should be doing to make sure they're on top of the ball and not getting squashed?
Yeah, so I'm curious. Can I ask your group to go into the chat bar and just say hello to me and just tell me where you're from? So I'd love to know where your group is from, and if they're an agent or a broker owner. Say, hey, I'm from Mississippi and I'm a broker owner. Just tell me who you are. I'd love to kind of get a feel for the audience, and then I'm going to share some different ideas or things that we can do. So use the chat box, and let's go in and let's just get to know each other a little bit.
Love it. If everybody wants to go in that Q&A, you can jump in here.
There you go. Hello from North Orlando. Love it.
All over the country.
Yeah. Reno, Rockville, Sedona. Love it. Rye, New York. Jackson. I love Jackson Hole. Philly. You got a great, we are all over the place. Connecticut, St. Louis, Lake Norman. I've been there.
Anybody international? Washington, D.C., where I'm at right now. Love it.
Yeah. Naples, Florida. Greetings. Okay, I love it. Well, thank you everybody for sharing who you are. We have, it looks like we have a pretty good mix of brokers and owners and agents and a group of people. I'm going to also encourage you while we're having a conversation here today, I'm going to encourage you all to ask questions. If you have a question or something you want to ask of Aaron or of me, just throw it up there and we'll do our best to answer those questions as we go through here. So I'm going to talk about 4 things that you can do to stay at the top of the bounce and to put yourself in a position to get your house in order. And then, Aaron, if it's okay with you, let me think about this. Okay, I'm going to share my screen with you. I'm going to show you some things because if I tell you something and then I show you how to actually do it, then you're more likely to do it. And then if there's enough engagement and energy on the call, and we have people that are engaging with us, then if I show a resource and I say, hey, I'm telling my agents they should, they should do better at lead tracking, and in my training center they have access to it. If you guys have a little bit of engagement here, I'll give you access to everything that I share.
So big deal. This is our first time for our panels here. We're getting some visuals that you can't get anywhere else. So get excited.
Like, is everybody okay if I give you free stuff? Anybody want some stuff? Now I sell this stuff, but I'll give it to you free if you're interested and you want some real good value. At Workman Success,
you only got it here.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so let's jump in. So I'm going to share my screen with you for a second, and I'm going to go here. Although no one's in the Q&A box saying they want my free stuff, so let me just go ahead and I'm going to share with you this right here. So this is the Workman Success Training Center, and I'm going to open this up really quick. I'm going to open it. There it is, right there. And the Workman Success Training Center.
Now, I think you're showing us the it's ActivePipe right now.
Oh, okay. Well, ActivePipe's cool. That's a good place to be on. Let's do desktop 3. I have so many monitors going, I don't even know what's up. And so, all right, so thank you, Paige, for your enthusiasm here. So what happens when we started running this program where we were coaching teams, a team leader would hire a buyer's agent, but they're so busy doing the business that they wouldn't take their foot off the gas long enough to train them right. So we went into the studio, we created a program to create a rock star buyer's agent that does 3 to 6 transactions a month. And we call that buyer agent mastery. And then we went into the studio and created a program for listing agents. And we took only agents who list between 200 and over 200 transactions a year. And we took all their listing process, their premium marketing plans, what they do in a home, how they negotiate, what they do in multiple offer situations. And we created a program called SLAM, which is Seller Listing Agent Mastery. And it's all of those sessions for that. And then we went into the studio and we created a program to train an admin. And nobody has anything like this. And so this is like the real stuff that we use to train elite teams. It's not I didn't build this to sell it. Now we have brokers and owners now that will come in and private label our training center. But I'm going to give our listeners today a link where you can go in, and I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to give everybody access. No contract, no credit card, and they can use it till the end of May. So while you're sequestered at home, I'm just going to open it up to everybody. Now, Aaron, you asked me about the basics.
Yeah, let's hear about some of the things you think now, the important stuff they should be knowing.
Okay, so number 1 is I'm going to say that they need to track leads at a much higher level. And we got to do lead tracking better than anybody else. So in the search bar of the training center, type in lead tracking. And inside there, you're going to get a whole bunch of resources like the lead tracker. I'm going to give you a Google Drive lead tracker that you can go in and it'll actually track every lead at every level. Now, for those of you that this is like the basic thing. It doesn't do incubation. It doesn't do follow-up campaigns. You want to use your ActivePipe for that. But when any lead comes in from any resource, I want to go in the lead tracker on first contact. And then once we have a conversation, we determine whether they're an A, B, or a C lead, and we move them forward. The second thing I want you to do is I want you to understand the difference between an A lead, a B lead, and a C lead. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but I sold my last company to Homes.com, and I have a tremendous amount of experience in lead generation, lead conversion, and lead incubation. And the way that we follow up with our leads matters. And so when you go in the search bar, just type in ABCs, and it's going to teach you the ABCs of lead management. And so, Aaron, I'll just, everybody has their own way of following up leads. I'm going to give you what I call as the ABCs, and then we'll give this to everybody too. An A lead is someone who's ready to buy or sell immediately, and you have an appointment scheduled. And so when you talk to your follow-up team, you say, okay, how many leads do you have? if they say 5, I say, great, show me your calendar. And they better have 5 scheduled appointments. If they have 5 people that are going to buy, but they don't have an appointment with them, they're B leads. And so I teach my agents that whenever they have, whenever they go out and show properties on a Saturday, for example, and then they don't find one, they say, okay, let's go out next week. Instead of saying, I'll call you next week, I'll send you some properties. We say, you want to go at the beginning of the week or the end of the week? Thursday or Friday, 1 o'clock or 3 o'clock. We schedule the appointment. An A lead has an appointment. And so I want everybody to understand that if you use the vernacular, use the terminology right, and we're all focused on what an A lead is. An A lead is somebody you have an appointment with.
So Verl, do we see a difference now from what an A lead used to be to what it is now? Or are you saying it is the same?
It's the same. If I have an appointment, my appointments are going to be Zoom meetings now though, right? Here, Aaron, here's a great example. Let's role play for just a minute. You and I have a little bit of fun with this. And so I'm going to give you like my most powerful dialogue right now. Everybody's asking, as we're doing our follow-up calls and we're having conversations with people, everybody wants to know how the market is. Go ahead and ask me, how's the market?
Hey, Verl, I'm really interested with everything going on. How's the market going?
Are you by a computer?
I can get to one.
Okay, 100% of the people we talk to right now are by their computers. They're all working from home, right? And so everybody has all this fancy dialogue. I want to stop giving you my opinion of what's going on in the market. And I want to know if you're by a computer, because I want to become a trusted advisor instead of a salesperson with a pitch. I don't think today is the time we should be selling anything. It's the time we should be serving at the highest level. And so, Aaron, if you're by your computer, I'm just going to have you go to my Zoom. We're going to do a Zoom just like this. And then I'm going to go live right into my MLS. I'm going to show you what's going on in the market. And so instead of telling you my opinion of the market, I'm just going to say, let me show you what's going on. 150 houses listed in the last 7 days on the MLS, 128 went under contract. We've had, 8 price reductions. And so it gives you data when I share my screen with you. And so a face-to-face appointment is different than a Zoom appointment, but it's an appointment. And if the appointment is for the purpose of moving forward in the process, we count it.
Absolutely. Now, how does the lead management from your perspective with the new nature of the market right now, is it the same as it was before? Is it different? Are we approaching it different? Because you mentioned some of the things that agents need to be doing right now to, back to my original question, how do we make sure we're staying on top of the ball and not getting squashed? What are the things we need to be doing? You mentioned lead management, really being on top of that. Does that change or is it the same?
It's the same. It's actually, you need to be better at it today. Like when you look at when you go into your ActivePipe dashboard and I can see all of the people that are in my back office, there's thousands of people that nobody's followed up with in a year. Now's the time that we should have a much higher level of engagement with that group, but you can't call them and sell them. So let me give you a script. Let me see if I can do this easily here. I'm going to go into, let's see if I have one for you. Okay, so a B lead is someone who's 30 to 90 days out. We're going to call them twice a month during the weeks that the 1st falls in and the 15th falls in. And so I'm going to be religious at my follow-up. A C lead is somebody who is more than 90 days out. We're going to call them once a month during the week of the 8th. And instead of calling him to say, hey, you're still looking at houses, I'm going to follow this exact script. And I'll give this to everybody too. I'll give you a landing page and everybody can download it. And so, Aaron, you be my buyer on the other side. I'm going to be, hey, this is Verl Workman from ABC Real Estate. I'm just making my COVID-19 follow-up call. I just wanted to reach out, touch base, see how you and your family are doing. Is there any way I can be hurt with that call?
Sounds you're humanizing. You're coming from a human perspective, which is important.
Well, and I'm not calling you to sell you something.
Right.
So if you're reaching out with the approach that I hope I'm going to sell something, then you're not hearing my message correctly. I mean, I want you to serve regardless of opportunity, whether or not they ever buy a house from you. Now's not a time to be selling. It's a time to be serving. And so then I follow the script and say, I just want to touch base, see how you and your family do. And then I'm going to listen. I'm going to find out if you've been laid off. I'm going to find out if there's life events that are occurring that are going to cause a move. And then I'm going to say, I just want you to know that we're here to help you. Is there anything that we can do to help you right now? I mean, what if they say, I need some hand sanitizer? Go get them some. Or, I'm sick of the same pizza place. You got any new places that that are open? I'll say, yeah, let me shoot you over a couple. Like, that's it. And then the dialogue goes like this. And then I say, Aaron, just for your information, I want to let you know that a lot of people have decided to step back from buying and selling real estate right now. We support them 100%. Others, however, are deciding to move forward in the process, and we're helping them by creating a new way of doing real estate safely. We've put in special procedures that allow us to do safe and smart showings, and we have a whole list of new virtual services. So I'm letting them know that I've got virtual services and safe opportunities to interact with them. So it just changes the dynamic. When you stop selling and you start serving, what happens is it opens up a different kind of conversation. And if you come from a place that's authentic, they can feel that. So I'll give everybody a copy of that as well. I think this is kind of interesting. If, you know, when people are asking about how the market is, Aaron, this is kind of a new chart. I haven't shared this with anybody yet, but this is from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. You know, right now, this is the employment chart right here. Right now, we know we have, you know, massive unemployment. And so because we've got, you know, 15 million people unemployed, a lot of people think it's going to make an impact on home sales. But according to the labor statistics in NAR, that unemployment rates have very little effect on home sales. And so you can see unemployment rates go up and down, but look at where home sales are. And so home sales have consistently remained constant, even though the unemployment rates have gone up, which leads me to this one right here that shows who's unemployed. 60% of the people that are unemployed, Aaron, look at them, food services and drinking places. What's going to happen when the market comes back? All of those people are going to get their jobs back. And so there's going to be a mass influx of people that go back and get their jobs back. And as also, are these the primary people that are buying and selling houses right now? 4.1% are construction workers. And it's not because construction's dead. It's because they can't get supplies. The supply chain's been interrupted. And so as soon as the supply chains come back in, construction goes back up. Healthcare workers, those are all the surgeons and nurses that do elective surgeries like knee operations and shoulder replacements and all those things. As soon as hospitals allow them to go back and do work, they're going to come back and those jobs will come back. So when I look at this chart of where the unemployment is, it gives me a tremendous amount of enthusiasm about the opportunity that's right in front of us. I don't believe that we're going to be stuck for a long time.
So Verl, when we look at this is very interesting information. I think it's very telling about what is that V going to look like. And when we look back at the previous one you were talking about, how unemployment versus home sales seem to not be lined up. You know, there is a correlation, it looks like, between the unemployment going down and home sales going down. From your perspective, this comes up a lot of these questions. You know, we often see that the real estate market is delayed compared to the rest of the markets. Do you feel that we might be experiencing a similar situation?
I don't think so. I think that there's a pause in the marketplace, and that the pause is we just can't actively go out and list and show. But the life events that cause people to move continue to happen, regardless of whether or not we want them to. And so people downsize, they increase the size of their family, they get relocated for work, they get divorced. There's all of these life events that are occurring constantly that cause people to move. And you know, like, I don't think anybody, well, I mean, I've only been in real estate for 20-something years, but I don't think anyone's ever moved because of their realtor. I don't think they move because their realtor wants them to move, or you know what I mean? Like, we're tools in the process. We're not the reason people buy or sell. It's life events that cause that. I think that there's going to be a recession, but it's not going to equal a housing crisis. I think that we're going to see a slowdown in the economy, but I don't believe that we're going to see massive slowdown in the number of houses that sell. And most of the experts are predicting that. They're talking about this consistent growth because the population has grown. We have more people on the planet today, and as a result of that, housing isn't necessary. It's one of the basic fundamentals. And so, because people need places to live, yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely. No, I mean, there's many signs that this is completely unique of a situation. And so, you know, it wouldn't be equal to what we've seen in other recessions. I think you're spot on there. Everybody, please feel free, just while we have the remaining time, please feel free to ask questions. You know, you can ask for more free stuff if you want to also, but definitely go over the QA, ask questions. You know, Verl can handle it. Verl, from your perspective, you know, you gave us one thing. If you can give us one other thing you think agents could be doing right now to make sure they're able to take advantage of that bounce.
Yeah, so I'm going to give you four. I'm going to get through all four of them. So okay. The first one is we're going to go back to basics, lead tracking and lead follow-up systems. I want you to do I want you to get your CRM in order, and everybody in there should be updated, contacted, and current. And if they're not, then you're missing the opportunity. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to focus on a special group that I call your top 50 and work on them. And I'm going to give you a resource for working your top 50. So those are my quick ones, right? Use scripts to contact with everybody and make sure you're staying. So that's the number one. So number one is go back to basics and get your house in order. Anything you do 3 times in your business, I want you to create a system for it and use my training center to teach you how to set those systems up. Because I'm giving it to you. Just get into it. Just get into it. Do videos every day. All right. So the second thing is I really want people to focus on their mental and physical well-being. You know, we're sequestered into our houses, and it's easy to go stir crazy. The only thing that I think is more contagious than the coronavirus is a bad attitude. And when you're dealing with the kids, trying to make them be quiet, you're doing homeschooling, going through 9th grade again, you hated that math then and you hate it again now. And, you know, it's easy to show that frustration when you get on a call. We've got to be able to put our game faces on and have a positive mental attitude. And so I want you to focus on your mental and your physical well-being. Here I have a slide, I think, that shows that. Let me see if I have one.
One's, I think, extremely important and I think is not talked about enough.
Yeah. So I'm a book guy. I read like every day. Aaron, I don't know if you have books on your desk, but let me tell you what I have on my desk right now. I have Og Mandino's The Greatest Salesman in the World, one of my favorite books of all times. And this is a book that I started reading this week and I love it. It's written by Dr. Paul Jenkins. It's called Pathological Positivity. We need a little bit of that. And then you've probably, for sure, this is one that we've all read. And if you haven't read this one, you probably should. It's Angela Duckworth's book, Grit. And the subtitle underneath Grit is The Power of Passion and Perseverance. Isn't that what we need right now?
Oh yeah, could not agree enough.
What's
And
on
if
your
anybody's looking for what I have on my desk, the new Malcolm Gladwell one, Talking to Strangers.
Oh, I love
helpful for this time.
Yep. One of my favorite authors of all times. Throw that up there. So let's see it again. I want to see that book again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talking to Strangers by Malcolm Gladwell. You know, I quote Malcolm Gladwell all the time about the 10,000 times it takes to create expertise in anything. 10,000 attempts, right? And a lot of people don't realize that. We practice our scripts and dialogues all the time. And people say, why do you practice? And it's because we never want to have to think about what to say next. We want to have it come naturally to us. And you can't do that unless you practice. And so we practice location, price, motivation, working with an agent, qualify for a mortgage, set the appointment. We practice family, occupation, recreation, dreams. When another agent will do it for less, we have scripts for that. And so, you know, if you can think of an objection that people get in real estate, I have a script for it. Parissa asked the question, Aaron says, what CRM do you recommend? Do you have one that you like, Aaron?
That's very funny coming from me. I used to work at a company called Contactually. A lot of people knew that got acquired. So good CRMs out there. Feel like I should be getting some type of payment for that. No, I would definitely check out Close is a great one, CLOZE. You know, Follow Up Boss. I think ultimately, coming from a guy who used to work at a CRM company, you want to find something that makes it as easy as possible for you to organize that database. So you know who you talked to most recently and that you don't have to constantly be updating it. So look for programs that focus on CRM, look for programs that track your interactions for you so you don't have to constantly do it yourself. I think that's going to be critical because at the end of the day, managing your relationships, knowing which relationships are cold, which are warm is extremely important for you staying on top of all this.
Yeah, you know, it's our most valuable asset are the relationships that we have. And people don't really understand that. We spend thousands and tens of thousands of dollars on programs like Zillow and others trying to find strangers. And if all we did is focus on really becoming the master of our CRM, we would be at a much higher level of success. For teams, I really like the CRM called RealVolve. If you haven't seen RealVolve, they've put intelligence into their workflows. And so they have if, then, that scenarios that happen that are really cool. And so that's another one you can check out is RealVolve for running teams. So I think that's a really good question that people ask. For physical health, I think that just doing something, you can't sit in your office all day. When you have a break between, you know, Zoom meetings, go out and take a walk. Go walk your dog, run around the backyard, go up down some stairs, do something. I keep my forearm exerciser right here, Aaron. I got it with me right now. I don't know if you recognize this. My forearms are bigger than they were last time we talked.
Popeye arms by the end of this.
Yeah, man, I'm going like this. I want to be able to, I want my forearms to be so strong I can pull myself up behind a boat and surf. So I'm working on that. I've decided I'm going to stop. I'm not even going to start on my abs. I think they're a lost cause, but I know I can make an impact on my forearms.
Absolutely. Crushed walnuts. All right, bro.
So,
So that's the three. While we still have time, what's the four?
all right. So number one is
Back to basics.
back to basics. Number two is mental and physical health. Number three is we need to be a master of virtual real estate today. And it's not okay to say that you're good at Zoom when you really don't know how to do a CMA on Zoom. You have got to become a true master. I actually have a list of things that people ought to do with virtual real estate, and I'm going to give that to everybody. So I'll just put that on my downloads, but it's the things that you should be able to master: virtual services, virtual showings, open houses, inspection reviews, all of the things that you used to do in person, you have to be able to do virtually. Now's not the time to sit back and wait for the market to change. Now's the time to get really good at providing virtual services. Our agents that are doing virtual service, I was on a call just an hour ago with all of my private clients. So these are people that I personally coach that are, DC, Maryland, LA. They're in a lot of tough markets that are in high metropolitan areas. And a couple of my DC agents, Maryland agents, were like, well, yeah, I've listed 5 houses this week. I put 4 under contract. And everybody else is like, well, I can't sell anything. The difference isn't the quality of the person. It's that they're focused on activities that get them results. And so they're better at the virtual business. They just lean into their clients and they've said, instead of why I can't do something, how do I make it happen? And so ask the question, how do I fix that? How do I solve that? How do I make it happen? How can we get someone to walk through and do an inspector? Can I get my inspector to go through and turn on his FaceTime and walk my client through what he would normally show them in person so we can make adjustments to the contract? You can do those things, and you should have a list of those virtual services, and you should let your clients know, hey, we do virtual real estate. We do it better than anybody else. It's time to have virtual real estate be your differentiator. It should be an unfair competitive advantage. I'm going to sneeze. Okay, so the last one is, and this is a big one, is I believe that Jason Hall wrote this, Aaron, and I just want to share this with you. It says, in the absence of leadership, the world tends to believe the worst in negative situations. Isn't that true? Panic creates madness, but the lights are more beautiful when they're surrounded in darkness. And I think now's an opportunity to make a choice to be the light that shines, a light in your families, a light with your community, a light in the real estate world. And the way that you shine that light is truly watching what's going on and putting yourself in the middle of positivity. When I say to be the light, Aaron, I want you to think about all of all the opportunities we have. Like, there's all these brokers and owners and agents in here. When one agent does something good, everybody should be tweeting about it, putting it on social media, putting it on Instagram, Facebook, and sharing with it. I got a new listing, or we had an amazing virtual open house, or, one of the agents in my office just had a closing where nobody saw each other in person. It was really cool to watch. We need to start sharing the victories that are happening in every single market. And as we share those victories, what happens is people it becomes contagious, and they start to really work. They start to really believe that they can transact today. And that's what we have to do. And then when you talk about shining the light, the other thing that I think is just critical is that I am humbled by the goodness of realtors. Our realtors are out there, and they are making just a massive impact on their communities. They're serving, they're sewing masks, they're doing all kinds of things to bring joy into the community where it's generally dark. And I think we need to look for people that are doing those types of activities and highlight them and shine a light on the people that are making a difference in the community without any anticipation of doing more business or being a better realtor, just because they're doing great things. Let's be the light that we share with everybody else. There's a bunch of questions coming in. We can probably get to some of those if you want to ask some of those questions. But those are my top 4, Aaron. Those are the 4 things that I'd love to have people focus on.
Love it. Well, we've already gone over 6 more time. If people want to stay, absolutely, Verl, if you have the time, we can jump through some of these questions, I think, for the next 4 minutes. But if you want to get on some of these, so someone's asking also, do you still have time?
Yeah, I'm good for a few minutes.
All right, let's do this till 4 more minutes on here. So someone's asking, do you think specific ones about vacation rental market be a disruptive factor? I don't know if you have any thoughts there.
I mean, just think about it. No one's going anywhere. So I think that's probably going to be one of the hardest hit areas in all of real estate, is rebounding on the vacation market and the VRBOs. I mean, we own property that we rent out on a short-term basis. And so I think that's going to be a disruptive factor. But what is disruption? I mean, you know what the biggest disruptor in real estate was, Aaron? The
Hmm.
fax machine. Somebody invented the fax machine. And so that was a disruptor. And then when we got DocuSign, it disrupted the fax machine. No longer needed to fax documents and email. So disrupted doesn't mean anything. It just means the way we change business. I think that those markets will come back, but I think it's going to be slower because people are going to be afraid to travel. That's my opinion. But it's also going to create more opportunities. You're going to have investors that want to pull out of those properties, and it's going to create opportunities for people that couldn't normally afford vacation properties to buy in areas that have been oversaturated with people that are taking advantage of the short-term rentals. So
Yeah,
one person's problem is another person's opportunity. You just have to decide to make it that.
absolutely. I think another good question here, maybe we can end with this one. What's a good resource for clients who have gone MIA? And I think that's asking even a larger question here is that, during this time, people have a lot of things on their mind. There's a lot of things they're doing. So people who were customers or clients of yours that just are not engaging with you right now, what are some of those resources? What are ways to engage with them that's
Yeah.
effective?
Well, I mean, for me, I would plug into some. I mean, I know that wasn't a self-serving question, but I would plug into ActivePipe and I would let the intelligence of a system go in and re-engage them based on the activity that they're having. And with the, I don't want to. I don't know if I want to call artificial intelligence, but that's what it is. I want a system that's going in and figuring out what activities are happening in people's lives that move them up the pipeline of being more likely to buy or sell. And then I just want to reach out and serve, just call, talk to them, how their family doing, give something of value without any strings attached, and you're going to get more opportunities to come back and take care of them. So you can't make people come back if they're missing in action. All you can do is reach out. And I think that a phone call today is much more valuable than a text message or an email. I think if you pick up the phone and just look at them and you say, you buy a computer and let's turn our video on and let's get face to face. I mean, when I talk to Aaron here, I can watch his body language. I can tell if he's bored or if he's engaged or if I say something funny and he smiles. We don't have to be socially disconnected. I think we should be physically apart, but socially connected. So try and find an opportunity to get face to face with them on Zoom or FaceTime and re-engage people that way. Because your energy is contagious. People feel it, and when they can see you, it makes them just want to whatever it is you had for breakfast. I want some of that. That's how we want to. That's how we want to engage with people.
Absolutely. And I'm feeling that from you, Verl. It's definitely making me hungry.
Thanks, Aaron. Hey, here's a quick
Awesome.
download for all your listeners. Just have them go to workmansuccess.com/active pipe. I'll share all those charts and graphs with everybody, access to my training center. If I can help you, reach out. It's Verl@workmansuccess.com. And if there's anything I can do to help any of you, just reach out. We're here to serve.
Yeah, and I can attest to that. Verl definitely will respond. So, thank you everybody for joining. We will have this recorded and sent out to you so you can review all of the amazing insights here. Verl, really appreciate the time. Enjoy the family, enjoy the basketball, and we'll talk again soon.
You too. Thanks for having me,
All right,
Aaron.
stay
Talk to you soon.
safe.